Good morning, my dear students. Welcome back to your history lecture. We'll continue with the same lesson which we started last week. Chapter 3, India's Internal Challenges. Let's go through a short revision of what we learned in the last video. We learned about Naxalism. We saw how Naxalism is also a problem which India faces. Moving ahead, let's move to communalism. Now, what is communalism, children, that we are going to learn? Now, children, you all know that India is rich in diversity and we have diverse culture, and we see that people of different religion have happily lived together since many centuries. There is nothing wrong in people of different religion living together in a country while being dully proud of their own religion. But when this pride becomes excessive, then it turns into bigotry. Now, children, what do you mean by bigotry? Bigotry means intolerant. They become intolerant. The sense of intolerance is known as bigotry. A person who is strongly partial to one's own group, religion, race, or politics is an intolerant of those who differ. That means he is a bigot. I hope you all understood the meaning of bigotry now. Okay, so as I was telling you all, communalism is a serious threat to the unity of our country. Communalism emerges out of narrow religious pride. The British sowed the seeds of communalism in our country. Now, previously also people of various religions were living together very much happily, and they were very much united to each other. They did not have any disrespect or hatred for other religion. They all lived together very happily. Now, we have seen, when you turn the pages to history, we have seen that people of various religion, may it be a Hindu, a Muslim, a Sikh, or any other religion, they all lived together happily. They celebrated festivals together. They distributed sweets, celebrated their festivals, eating dinner, lunch, and doing many things together. But now, children, when these things change, each one of them begins to consider their religion superior and others inferior. This leads to religious fanaticism. What is meant by fanaticism, children? When mind is closed to any new idea that is against their belief and refuses to accept even simple logic. And religious fanaticism means? Religious fanaticism is fanaticism related to a person or a group's devotion to a religion. Now, the stubbornness, or you can say the narrow mindedness, is the when a person refuses to accept any other ideology of any other person, their mindset is limited, or it becomes very extremely into the religion, into the what you call is just community, a very strong love for the community, and starts hating or having disrespect for other religions. Fanaticism is the base of communalism. It makes one oblivious of national interests. Now, children, oblivious means unaware. Now, when you have a strong love for community and you forget about all the national interest, you are just unaware of what is good for the country, and you just fight for your religion. Maybe you are fighting it for a good cause, or sometimes what happens is it is just because of a political agenda, and it creates a big chaos in the whole country. Now, people of different religions don't trust each other. They become suspicious of each other. Compatriots following different religions are looked at as enemies. Now, children, this type of situation we have come across many times in our country, where something happens and the whole scene takes a total different turn. Then the peace of the country is destroyed, minds of people become corrupt. Then even friends become enemies. Friends of different religions start fighting on their basis of religion. They are not even ready to come together for celebrating any festivals. They are rarely seen with each other at times. As a result, it becomes difficult for everybody to come together and get organized for their demands and rights as citizens. Fanaticism makes the perspective of looking at events and people prejudice. That means, whenever this fanaticism is there, people start having a prejudice. That means they have their own set of mind. The mindset is already fixed, so they'll be looking at any situation according to their mindset. So they have a pre idea, or they have a pre fixed emotion for such situations, and they just connect it with their religion and react accordingly. Some people begin to think of economic and social questions also. Some people of all religions think that since they belong to a particular religion, they have no influence in politics. They begin to believe that they are being treated unjustly. They hold the idea that government is partial against their religion. In such a condition, they become too sensitive about their religion and they are co-religionists. If anybody speaks about the people of their religion or insults the religious symbol knowingly or unknowingly, riots break out. Because of this kind of thinking, hundreds of people are killed. Public property worth crores of rupees is damaged. Public peace is destroyed. Due to the bitter memories of these riots, people are estranged. Now, students, we know that religion is a very sensitive topic. You and me and everybody in this world is very much sensitive about their own religion. Yes, we don't like anybody saying something to our gods, our religion, our culture. We have a very sensitive mind or very sensitive space for this religion in our life, and that is the reason why such communalism takes place. Now see children, on the screen, these in these pictures you can see that when people start fighting for their religion, they come on streets, they start creating a havoc, they start creating a full chaos, then there is a damage of public property and many other things happen. They just don't think about the loss which they are creating. They just do it because they want to prove that they are right, or they want to prove that their religion is superior. They forget all other things, they forget humanity. How can national unity be achieved without social unity? Hence, it is necessary that we all counter this religious communalism with all our strength. For this, we should mix with people of different religion. We should accept the good practices and ideas of each other. We should be able to look at and understand our economic and social problems rationally. We should not mix these questions with religion. We should search for the economic, political, or historical reasons that are responsible for disturbing religious harmony. This is the only way to put an end to communalism and strengthen national unity. I hope children you all understood the meaning of communalism. Moving ahead to the next topic, to the last topic of the lesson, that is regionalism. Regionalism means having excessive pride about one's region. It is one thing to introduce oneself as a Bengali or a Marathi person. But if I think that because I am a Bengali or a Marathi, I am superior to others from other provinces, it can be termed as excessive regional pride. Now, children, we are Indians first and then we belong to some particular state or a particular region. Now, we have seen many times that people introduce themselves as Maharashtrians, Gujaratis, Bengalis, Assamese, etc. It's not bad to introduce your state, but you should not have excessive pride. Then it turns into regionalism. The love for one's province turns morbid due to this kind of an excessive regional pride. Now, children, what do you mean by morbid? Morbid means having a strong interest in unpleasant subjects. That means something bad. So, unpleasant subjects means which can create some controversies. It is natural to feel love for one's province, but it should not become abnormal. Regionalism thrives on regional imbalance in development. In the post independence period, some states achieved more progress, while some states remained backward. For example, states like Maharashtra, Gujarat, Punjab, Tamil Nadu developed economically and industrially, whereas states like Odisha, Bihar, Assam remained undeveloped economically and industrially. Economic development and reforms are the foundation of progress. As a result, the state that develop economically can also achieve progress in other areas like education, health, and culture. The states which have not developed in this manner remain backward in education and civic amenities. The opportunities of development available to people in developed states are not possible for the people in backward states. They are harassed by problems of education, backwardness, unemployment, poverty, etc. They begin to think that they are being cheated. They are being kept away from the benefits of development. Because of this, the understanding between states is broken. This in turn has a negative impact on national unity. Now, children, in the last lesson we saw how people of the northeast India felt that they were left behind. Same way, this problem is faced by many of the states in India where they are not properly developed or they are kept away or deprived from their rights. They feel that they are left out and hence they are not able to get proper education, employment, and no proper quality of life, etc. They begin to think that they are being cheated, they are being kept away from the benefits of development. Because of this, the understanding between states is broken. This in turn has a negative impact on national unity. The economic imbalance that has endangered the understanding needs to be set right. Our government makes efforts in that direction. Regionalism can affect developed as well as undeveloped states. So it is the duty of the government to take care of their development. Now, children, the people of developed states begin to believe that they are superior due to their superior history and culture, and hence they have developed that much. Then they begin to look down upon the people of underdeveloped regions. They are not willing to share the benefits of development with the backward states. On the other hand, the people from backward areas need to arouse their regional identity to organize themselves. For this, they try unnecessarily glorify local traditions and culture to prove their uniqueness. This leads to regionalism. It endangers national unity. The evil of regionalism can be tackled by reducing the imbalance in development. Now, children, I hope you all understood what exactly regionalism is. So, basically, what today we learnt is communalism and regionalism. When you talk about communalism, it is about religion. When you talk about regionalism, it is about region. So basically, we need to understand we are one as Indians, and these communalism and regionalism are a threat to our national interest. That means these are going to affect the development of our country. I hope you all understood the lesson very well. In case you have any doubt, you can join in the DCS session. Thank you, my dear children. Have a nice day.